The company was directly supplied fresh field latex from a rubber tree plantation which located in Chonburi near to the factory. The plantation has a systematic management in carrying the para rubber trees in order to ensure the quality of the field latex. Rubber tapping is a process which field latex obtained by tapping from the rubber trees. Each night, the tappers have to remove a thin layered skin along a downward half spiral on the tree trunk. The spiral allows the latex to flow down to a collecting cup. The tappers have to avoid cutting right through the tree to avoid the growing layer of the trees. In terms of para tree lifespan, it depends on how well the tapper did. Normally, the field latex will be collected in the early morning before the day's temperature rises.
Coagulated cup lumps form into a slab, and coagulation of rubber can be speeded up by the addition of acid. Latex are kept in tank from farm and sent to factory by truck. At the factory, the field latex will be weighted and company's laboratory will collect samples of the field latex to check the dry rubber content in order to make a payment to supplier according to the percentage of the dry rubber content. However, the latex that would be processed have to meet the lab criteria. After receiving the field latex from the supplier, the company will keep the latex in the reception bulking tank. Then ammonia will be mixed into a latex at approximately 0.7% by weight in order to preserve the field latex against natural coagulation and allows the latex to remain in its liquid state. The latex will be kept in the bulking tank around 50 tons, awaiting to be moved to the next process.
The field latex will then be transferred into a dilution tank where ammonia mixed latex will be diluted with clean water. During this process, latex with dry rubber content of 30 to 40% will be precipitated and afloat on non-rubber content. An additional chemical, diammonium phosphate, also being added to efficientize the precipitation process. The latex with 30 to 40% dry rubber content will be pumped into the next process, while the non-rubber excess will be transferred to skim crepe rubber process. The centrifuge process will separate concentrated latex from water by spinning the dilute latex, with 60% of rubber concentration as standard percentage output. The excess water with approximately 4 to 8% of rubber content then will be diverted to skim crepe production. The centrifuge machine can produce about 400 to 500 liters per hour of concentrated latex. Normally, the machine can continuously run the process for over 24 hours. The centrifuge process will separate the output latex into two fractions. One contains 60% concentrated latex and the other contains 4 to 8% of dry rubber content. After centrifuge process, rubber with 60% dry rubber content concentration will be sent to containing tanks and adjust ammonia percentage to 0.7% for preservation. An additional chemical such as lauric acid is also being added as supplementary preservation. The adjusted latex will then be contained in a 200-liter barrels awaiting for delivery. As for skimming latex making process will be transferred into a pool at a separate building through open pipeline. in order to reduce ammonia content via evaporation. Sulfuric acid will then be added to calculate the skim latex. After calculating the skim latex will be hardened into a sheet covering the pool surface and transferred to a rolling machine where it will be cut and flattened into a standard size, then hanged for 1 to 2 weeks. The finished skim latex will be wrapped in plastic that will be strengthening the skim latex without affecting its quality. Concentrated latex will be kept in the main latex stocking tanks that will wait for delivery when receive customers' orders, and skim crepes are wrapped in a plastic and kept in warehouse. The company provides delivery service according to the customer's requirements. An additional charge will be added according to the distance of delivery. Customers that prefer self-pickup will be provided a loading space.
Six sourcing strategies. Fuel suppliers. ERL adopted the fuel supply strategy where the firm would be supplied by a few suppliers only in order to create a long-term relationship with its suppliers. This strategy can create economies of scope through extensive firm-supplier relationship by adapting to each other and knowing what is best for each side to ensure the quality of the raw materials is met. Most of ERL suppliers are chemical distributors for manufacturing and laboratory firms, which has a relatively small market size. It is quite appropriate for the company to adopt a strategy to ensure that their raw material quality has met their standards. Keiretsu Network. The company also adopts the Keiretsu Network style of sourcing strategy. This strategy is when the firm creates a long-term coalition between its suppliers. In the case of ERL, the field latex supplier was owned by the company's director and will only deliver field latex to ERL. The company will provide financial support through field latex purchases and its director's supervision, creating a long-term and sustainable supply chain, ensuring the quality and quantity of the raw material. Supply-based, market-based price model. This is a process of establishing a price for a product based on the existing market conditions. In this case, the latex price is determined according to the price of the rubber of its competitors at that time. In this pricing strategy, the company will evaluate the prices of similar products that are in the market. Then the price is set by an agreement between the buyer and the seller. Process strategies. The push strategy. ERL uses the push strategy in the production process. The company pre-orders and stores the raw materials and goods in the storage. The production starts when the field latex reaches 50 tons, and then all other processes will continuously run until it's finished. The concentrated latex are then kept in the storage in barrels while waiting for customers' orders, while the skim crepes are wrapped in plastic and then kept in the warehouse. The advantage of the push system is that the company can make sure that it has enough products on hand to meet customer demands at all times, and it can also reduce the product shortage risk. ERL manages to adopt the just-in-time inventory management system, a system where materials and products are only produced only as demand requires. This helps to increase efficiency as well as reduce inventory costs. However, the company must always be accurate in their forecasts in order to make sure they do not exceed or go below required inventory. Machine technology. ERL has chosen to import the centrifuge machine as it guarantees greater efficiency as well as help minimize maintenance costs. This machine, which serves as a rubber separator, can now produce a greater amount of concentrated latex per hour and also requires a smaller number of hours for human supervision. There are some opportunities available in the integrated supply chain. For example, the blanket order. Some customers have already implemented the blanket order with a company. Here, the customer makes a purchase order with a company which contains multiple delivery dates for a period of time. This long-time commitment will be beneficial to the company as it can accurately plan for the production and the response to customers' needs. Secondly, we can benefit through standardization. For the most part, the company's product is 60% concentrated latex, which consists of 60% DRC and also contains a steel barrel of 200 liters per barrel. And for skim crepe, it consists of 4 to 8 DRC, and the size should be 100 centimeters and 50 centimeters for each crepe. This standardization can help by lowering the cost of production. Problems and challenges. Uncertain raw material supply. The amount of field latex that is produced depends on the season because it comes from a natural commodity. Because of this problem, the company will have to stock raw material in order to ensure that it meets the customer demands in each production cycle. Secondly, there may be inefficient recording or human error. Most of the recording of the sales, laboratory test records, and inventory records of ERL are recorded manually by humans. This could pose a risk of data safety and inconvenience as well as waste time. Also, there can be a challenge of energy waste and negative environmental impact. The company often faces high electricity bills due to the extensive production time. Machines often get left to operate automatically, and sometimes it consumes more than enough energy. Hence, this creates a negative environmental impact and a carbon footprint.
GPS Truck Tracker GPS tracking device will allow the company to secure their delivery and increase customers' satisfaction. The device allows both the company and customers to track their product delivery through GPS receivers. This allows the company to monitor the security of their delivered products, and customers will be able to estimate the arrival of their raw material. Factory Energy Management System and installation of utility management software is highly suggested and will be beneficial in saving cost in terms of energy bill. One of the early production problems was that machines were left on in an extensive time over consuming the electricity. The installation of utility management software will allow staff to monitor each production zone's energy consumption and efficiencies the system. Some of the modern factory energy management system also came with a special feature in monitoring and reducing production waste, allowing factories to maximize production and minimize their carbon footprints. New product implementation. The company has been producing for a while. Hence, there may be more ways to make profit. In the current state, the company is only the supplier of raw materials and strictly does not sell any products to the end customer. It is focused on a business-to-business relationship. However, if they wanted to expand their portfolio, they can easily because of their expertise and knowledge the area. They can start off by picking and choosing one product, for example, rubber bands, and learn to be very competent at it. This can potentially create a better image, increase client base, and reduction in the middleman cost, and also increase profit margin. MRP system. Due to the high carrying cost of inventory and cost of additional chemical, the company should adopt a system called Material Requirement Planning, or MRP. It is a framework to provide sufficient flow of information throughout the company. The system will facilitate the firm in terms of maximizing customer service through rapid information and status to increase efficiency and shorten customers' waiting time. The system also serves as a recording instrument for the firm data security and ease of use when needed.